The idyllic island life in the Maldives continues, but the nation's political tide is turning. The country's first democratically elected president has resigned amid rumours of a coup. Now a government with links to Islamic fundamentalism and a former dictatorship is in place. I'm Fauzia Ibrahim. On this edition of 101 East, we speak with newly sworn-in President Mohammad Wahid Hassan about the state of democracy in the Maldives. But first, Drew Ambrose takes a look at the events leading up to the current political turmoil.
This beach on the tiny island capital Malé has always been a place for locals to hang out. But it's now become a centre of protest. Despite being deposed as president last month, Mohamed Nasheed still rides a wave of support. And he's aiming to rise again after a political wipeout.
I feel really quite happy that they trust me so much. The regime thought that after the coup, they went on the 8th to really suppress us. And they did it. They did it with all their strength and all their force. They beat everyone up to mincemeat. But they came back again the next day, and they keep coming back.
There'd be close to 10,000 supporters out here today for former President Nasheed, and they come from across this South Asian archipelago, calling for free and fair elections right now.
In the country's first democratic elections in 2008, Nasheed, a one-time activist and political prisoner, was elected president. It followed a 30-year dictatorship under Asia's longest-serving leader, Mahmoud Abdul Gayoom. Nasheed made a splash on the international stage, with stunts to raise awareness about climate change afflicting the Maldives. But his detractors say he neglected important domestic issues, like the economy.
Well, I think that's a very easy criticism to overcome. You just have to look at the facts. We introduced goods and services tax, we introduced income tax, we introduced corporate tax. We have 9% growth now. When we came in, we have minus growth. We were going down.
The political landscape here is as congested as Malé's skyline. Nasheed has the most parliamentary seats, but needed other parties to come to power. But the Islamic-oriented party Al-Halaf withdrew their support of Nasheed last year due to his liberal policies, courting of Israel, and his leadership style.
We tried to meet with President Nasheed. We requested him for a meeting to address our concerns, but he simply refused to meet with us.
Matters came to a head in January when Nasheed ordered the arrest of the chief judge of the criminal court after the judge released an opposition activist. Critics called the judge's arrest unconstitutional. Husnu al-Saud, an ally and former Attorney General under Mr Nasheed, said it was the wrong move.
My view is that the president had other avenues actually to reform the judiciary without actually arresting the judge, the criminal court judge. For instance, the president should have gone to the parliament to remove him from office. I think that would have been the proper method of doing that, rather than asking the military to arrest him.
It sparked 3 weeks of protests from opposition parties and anger from the country's security forces, putting the country on a political knife edge.
As the protector of the Constitution, I am supposed to look after all institutions and make sure that they go according to line. So I had to step in, and I don't think that I've done a wrong thing. I believe this was the right thing, and we'll do it again.
On the 7th of February, police defectors smashed up Nasheed's party base and headed to the main city square, seizing the police headquarters and demanding the chief's resignation. more officers joined the opposition mutiny, leading to clashes between police and loyal army soldiers. Nasheed went to the army barracks in the square to order an end to the violence, but he was forced to shelter inside the barracks. In this amateur footage, he can be seen pleading for support from army troops, warning them the whole country is falling apart.
There was a rebellious police force on the outside and there was a mutinous military in the inside, and the military was telling me that I had to resign within 1 hour. They were saying that otherwise they would resort to using arms.
Did you feel your safety was at risk?
Well, it certainly was. There's no doubt about it. They were trying to mob me, they were trying to shoot me, they were trying to do all sorts of things with me.
2 civilians, both former security officers, were invited by the Defence Minister into the barracks to convince Nasheed to stand down. One of the men, Mohammed Nazim, is shown here telling army and police protesters that their demand for President Nasheed to resign was delivered and to remain calm. Former Deputy Police Commissioner Abdullah Riaz was part of the duo.
Yeah, absolutely. We are civilians. I quite agree with that. But there's nobody has told me or asked me. It's just, you know, I would say it's a situational leadership. We thought that there may be bloodshed. I mean, that's what I thought, definitely. I mean, why I went there? Obviously, nothing more than national interest. Even then, I feel still, you know, I mean, this is a place where we have served for a long time. From scratch, we have developed this place. You know, we never want to see anything happening here. I'm sorry to say this.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
By early afternoon, in a televised conference, Nasheed announced his resignation, with the 2 men watching on. Mr. Riaz claims it was anything but a coup.
I don't consider that as a coup. The president was quite relaxed. From what I have seen, was quite cool, and I'm not involved in any unlawful thing. I'm not involved.
In one of Mohammed Wahid Hassan's first acts as president, he appointed Mr. Riaz as police commissioner and the other man involved in Nasheed's resignation as defence minister.
I can understand, you know, since I have accepted this job, you know, people may have a lot of allegations on that. But number one, why I came? The administration asked for my support and assistance. It's the time when the government is asking for me again, back to the national service.
But the following day, there's more anarchy. Nasheed says he was forced to resign under duress.
This is a coup.
Prompting clashes between his supporters and the security forces. Police stations and government buildings were burnt across the country, and there were widespread arrests and alleged beatings.